Would you like to live your best life possible, regardless of your imperfections? Discover cutting-edge tools and inspiration to let go of your limitations and expand your life beyond what you've ever imagined. On Imperfect Brilliance, we help you tap into your unique gifts and talents, uncovering and letting your brilliance shine. Join certified facilitator and coach Betsy McLoughlin as she delves into different areas of your life to get unstuck and create the life that is truly possible for you. Betsy has changed her life by utilizing the tools and techniques she is sharing with you. What if your willingness to acknowledge your brilliance is the catalyst to creating a new reality? When you stop judging you, what else can you create in your life and in the world? Join Betsy live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern to create magical and joyous possibilities for an hour of laughs, questions, tips, and more. We are excited to contribute and play with you.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Imperfect Brilliance. I am your host, Betsy McLoughlin, and thank you so much for joining in and listening either live or on the archives with OMTimes Radio. I have had my show for several years now, and I just love it, and I'm super grateful for you guys listening in and your emails and your comments on Facebook. And as always, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know, if there's a topic you would like me to discuss. And you're welcome to email me or even call in and ask your questions live. So I'm very excited to welcome today Chelsey Dalzell. And first of all, welcome, Chelsey.
Hello, Betsy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we're going to talk today about engaging with your creations. And the first time I actually kind of started hearing about that everything had a consciousness, it was a really different way for me to look at things. And that's what we're going to be diving into today. So everything has a consciousness. Everything you do, everything you work with, your emails, your business, your classes, your computer, if you're creating graphics, if you're writing something, if you're creating a book, or even just writing a note to somebody, everything has a consciousness. So we're going to be talking about how do you engage with the consciousness of everything during creation in our conversation today. And just a little bit about my guest. She has learned how to commune and communicate with the energies and entities of her business that can contribute to greater ease and captivating creations. I love that. Captivating creations. Woo-hoo.
Doesn't that have a beautiful ring to it? I read that
really
coming and it's like, gosh, those two words feel good together.
Yeah, I love it. And Chelsey, like myself, she's an Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator, and she's also the creative director for Shannon, and she's also a Talk to the Entities Certified Facilitator. And she's a mobile mom on the go, and she travels the world and works remotely, hosting and attending classes. And Chelsey, you definitely create your life by design and by utilizing these magical tools that we talk about in my show every week from Access Consciousness. And you use these tools to create and receive more ease, joy, glory, and freedom than you ever imagined was possible. So once again, welcome.
Thank you so much. What an intro. Thank you, Betsy. Yeah, cool. Wow. As you were talking, it's funny you say that with everything having consciousness. I'm pacing back and forth in my apartment right now in Canada, and it's like everything just starts sparkling. It's like you're just turning your attention towards all of the bits and pieces in your life and all of what's said to be inanimate in this world. It's just like, I'm here. I'm here now too. Thanks for including me in the interview and in the creation. That's really cool. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This is going to be a really fun conversation, I think.
Totally. And that just kind of popped in with something with me I'd love to share really quickly. I've been in my house for about 3.5 years now. And I definitely included my house in when I was moving and asked it to contribute to everything that I was creating, asked it to help me sell my current house so that I could purchase this one. And there was such a beautiful communion with everything, with the house and the land, and everything was included. And I was teaching my first class at my house, and we were sitting watching, I was teaching the Access Bars, which is the class that I talk about frequently, and how it's such an amazing contribution to my life and everything that I have changed and created. And we were sitting watching, there's a part where you watch a video, and we were watching it, and I literally felt this whoosh of energy go through me. I was like, whoosh. And I was like, oh my God, what? And even just talking about it now, I'm getting chills. And I was like, whoa, what was that? Right? And I actually got up and went into the other room because I was asking a lot of questions like, what was that? And what am I aware of? And I got such a sense of the house being so happy that we were creating classes and that we were caring for the house. And we had done quite a bit of fix up already and all these things. And the house was so grateful. And it was such a beautiful energy that coursed through me. And all I could think was like, oh my gosh, you are so welcome. And thank you for all the contribution that you have been to everything that my husband and I have created here. And it was such a beautiful communion. And so to me, it's a great example of how you can communicate with the energy of everything around you.
Totally. Gosh, that's so cool. That gave me goosebumps, that story.
Right?
It's just such a brilliant way to be in the world. And when you start to acknowledge that and see it and receive it and really be with that energy, life just becomes this possibility, like this game of everything being here to be your friend and to contribute to you and create with you, and all the separations and all of the weirdness and all the I've got this on my own and I have to work really hard and figure this out sort of just goes away, and you're just like hugged by everything. Like, it's just like, how does it get better than that?
Wow.
Very cool. Yeah, cool.
So tell me, like, how did you first learn about communicating with the energies of things?
I would say, I had started to play with that premise, so to speak, early on. You hear so early, if you start any sort of metaphysical work or any, even spiritual work, everything is consciousness. And it just seems so not real for me when I first started. I went, that sounds like a really great idea. How sweet and lovely. And it wasn't until I actually started working, right, with Talk to the Entities and Shannon O'Hara, because that's how she really has taught me a lot. She's taught me, I want to say, almost everything I know about that until this point with regard to talking to the entities and acknowledging that everything has consciousness in a different way, in a way that is actually like it's an aware being, And so Talk to the Entities is, as Shannon will describe on her own, is that, it's the business itself is obviously an entity, and then it is an actual bunch of entities, so not, beings without bodies that have created that business with her. And so she doesn't live a day without contributing and talking to and receiving from and really interacting and engaging with everything and all the bits and pieces and all of the inanimates and all of the entities. And so it became almost really difficult for me when I started to not do that. It was like, I don't get it. This is really hard, because if you're trying to work in an energetic business from this reality's point of view, it's not fun. It's really hard, You're trying to slog away, and you're trying to do everything on your own, and you're trying to work really hard and prove how hard you're working, and there's no flow. That like engagement, that yummy communion, it's not there. And it wasn't until I was really having a shitty time with it, honestly, that I was like, this isn't fun. Like, what am I missing here? And she asked, well, how much are you receiving from the business? And what are you receiving from the business? And are you asking the entities to contribute? And what about this? And what about this? And what about this? And at that point I went, aha, okay, cool. And it's like, we all go into this like, well, I don't know how to do that. Well, what does that mean? How do I do that? And you just sort of choose it. You just choose to, for me, at that minute of acknowledging, oh my gosh, this is actually real. Like this is what real is. This pieces, inanimate entities, they are here to lend themselves to me and to contribute to me in my life as I am to them. And so it's like turning your attention towards that is simultaneous receiving, contributing, gifting, creation. It's like all of a sudden communion just happens and life's really fun.
Wow. There's so much information in that. Like, so much.
Right. I'm like, I could rattle on about that for the next 40 minutes. I should probably breathe here.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. And so one of the pieces that really just jumped out at me as you were speaking was the piece about, are you receiving from your business? I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That is such an amazing question. I was like, am I receiving? And, I kind of got, well, some, and I could be receiving way more. So and I love tapping into the energy of people who are listening and like kind of pulling questions out of their universes. And so for people listening who are like, well, either they've never asked that question before, so they might be thinking, what in the world are you talking about? Or people who are like the answer that I heard, and I've got to ask more questions. Was that mine, or was I tapped into someone else? But what I heard was yes, and I could be receiving way more. So, what questions can you offer for people listening? Who, let's start with the first thing that I said was where people are thinking, I have no idea what you're talking about with receiving. So let's start there.
Yep. So what is receiving? What is receiving? And asking, and for a long time, especially when I started working with Access and in Access and using the tools, receiving was this, again, really cool idea. Wow, that sounds like so awesome. Receiving, great. I do that all the time. And then I went, but obvious, no, wasn't. And then I really had to be like, well, universe, can you help me? Like, what is receiving? And it was actually entities that taught me to receive, like, because they were only energy. And working with the business and in the business, I was like, guys, I need some help. Show me what receiving is. What the fuck is she even talking about? Sorry, Betsy, if I'm not allowed to swear. What is she even talking about? What is Shannon talking about? Show me what receiving is. Show me receiving. What is receiving? And then anything that doesn't allow me to be receive and perceive what that is, destroy it and create it, right and wrong, good and bad, fun and pop, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And then allow those answers to actually come. Allow the question to create more question and awareness. What is receiving? Well, when you go outside, when I say what is receiving, and then I go outside and the sunshine finally breaks through the clouds that have been there all day, and I put my barriers down and my whole body relaxes. Truth, is this receiving? Got it. Cool. All right. And how does it get better?
Okay. Thank you so much for that. And then for if anybody listening is like, what was she just saying? Like the right and wrong, good and bad, pot and talk, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. That is the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. I'll let you explain what that is because people hear it from me, but how about you explain it for everybody?
Okay. I explain it very quickly because I do. I call it the magic wand. I just call it the magic wand. There is a ton of really great material on it. Dane has a beautiful video on the accessclearingstatement.com, which will break down what once was, Betsy, I don't know how long you've been with Access, but from what I understand, the clearing statement used to be a manual. Now it's that quick little bunch of verbiage that we spill out. But at one point it was really long, and it's just, it's really a way of bypassing your logical mind and sort of disrupting the limitations. And really, for me, I just started using it. I was like, I'm not going to ask. I just need to, what I'm doing isn't really working. This feels insane, but being unhappy and miserable all the time was more insane. So I'm just going to give this a whirl.
Right.
And then a week or so in, or even a day or two in, I was like, wow, this is really flowing. Like, what is it? This might actually be doing something. And now I don't, yeah.
Yeah. And that really is, it's designed to bypass your logical thinking mind. And you don't have to know how it works just to know it works. And you can go to theclearingstatement.com to get more information if you're intrigued and you've never heard this before. And we know, for me, it's been about 7 years since I've been using the tools of Access, and totally changed my life. So for me, it doesn't matter how it works. I just know it freaking works like nothing else ever has for me. So
yep.
That's the bottom.
I hear you. Totally. Yeah. And it's faster. For me, I went,
very
gosh,
fast,
if I was willing to talk to crystals and pray to angels and consult cards and wands and all kinds of crazy stuff, this is just, if I was willing to do that, why don't just give this a go and see what happens there? So
yeah, definitely. Well, it's very fast. So that's an idea, the exercise you just talked about, like receiving, the sun coming through the clouds and, putting your face up and feeling, feeling that. And so if somebody is receiving and they would like to receive more, what questions could they ask in that situation?
Barriers down. I would say, what are barriers? Are my barriers up right now? And the second that you turn your energy towards that, for me, I noticed right away with the whole concept of barriers, and that barriers were something that most people walk around with all the time, including myself. Right now, even, it's like several times a day I go, okay, barriers down, barriers down, barriers down, barriers down, barriers down. That 1, 2, there. And now I can receive. Receiving just got a whole lot easier, and I would say that would be a great tool to start with.
I love that. Well, this is a great place to take our first break. Thank you so much, you guys, for listening to myself and Chelsey Dalzell today. We will be back in just a couple of minutes. Please stay tuned.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Namaste, friends. This is Deva Premal and Miten, and we want to let you know that we will be in America and Canada this May. We'll be coming with our Wings of Mantra World Tour, coming up the West Coast to Boulder, Santa Fe, Sedona, Scottsdale, Santa Barbara, LA, Marin, Santa Cruz, San Jose, Escondido, Edmonds, and up to Canada to Victoria and Vancouver. You can find details on our website, devapramalmiten.com. Hope to see you there. Lots of love. Namaste.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organisation, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers and researchers pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I liked kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm going to return the kayak.
Can we walk home?
How about a taxi?
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Imperfect Brilliance. And I was laughing because I believe I mispronounced your name, Chelsey, right before we went to break.
I'm thrilled with Dazzle. I think you should just run with it. Dazzle's way better. That pesky other L in there. Just ignore it. Dazzle. No, I'm kidding. Dalzell, but it's pretty darn close. You're not the first person, and I'm happy to be that sparkly.
Right, but yeah, Dazzle works too, right?
Totally. You bet. I have been called worse things than Dazzle.
So welcome back, with Chelsey Dalzell and myself, Betsy McLoughlin, where we are talking today about receiving and creations and communing with the entity and energies of everything around us and including it in everything that we create. And so right before the break, you were talking about you're receiving and like barriers down and barriers down and barriers down. And I thought that was a great place for us to go to break as we were all lowering our barriers and then looking at, for me, when my barriers are down, I am able to receive. When my barriers are up, I can receive some, but a lot of it bounces off and so that exercise of literally just saying to yourself, barriers down, and you can feel it melting away.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
And what a cool acknowledgement that, we're all, some of us more than others, are still creating some pretty magical lives walking around with our barriers up. And what would our lives be like, really, if we just got in the exercise and the practice of lowering them and keeping them just a little lower every day? Oh, and how much easier it could be to receive from one another, and the flavors that sparkle, the colors that are around us, how much more could we really be receiving? And it's just practice, I think. Betsy, I'm about barriers down and getting in the practice of that. For me, it's just been practice and exercising that muscle of noticing when they're up and how much easier and nicer it feels when they're down. And then, what is the value of having barriers? But if we bought the value of having barriers are, and then, clearing a whole bunch of that stuff. And then what?
Right. And it is a muscle that you practice. And it seems to be that the way I functioned for a long time it was an automatic pilot kind of thing where my barriers were just up all the time. And because I felt like if they weren't up, I was going to get, pummeled, hurt, and I had to protect myself. And so that was kind of the way I operated, that I had to have those barriers up. And so, you said, but even that acknowledgement piece of that I was able to, even with all the barriers up, I was able to create quite a bit. And then there was a lot that I was not able to create because I was not in the space or the place where I could receive. And so that's where that conversation of the receiving piece is quite something.
So true, because you can only create so much without actually receiving it. And I think we've all been there when we create, we're on a roll, everything's rolling in really cool, we're doing some really amazing things, we're creating with some people, we're starting to acknowledge those creations, and then we sort of hit this glass ceiling of, and you go, what's happened? Where did it all go? Well, how much of your own creations were you just unwilling to receive? Because we could just create, and outcreate. But if we're not willing to receive ourselves, the greatness that we've become, the greatness we're creating in the world, start to really acknowledge what it is we're creating in the world, and all those things really go hand in hand. I mean, creation and gratitude and acknowledgement, without everything simultaneously kind of contributing and working together, you do stop. You hit a ceiling, and then you start over.
Yeah, so what would it be like if you didn't have to keep hitting a glass ceiling and starting over?
Totally. And what would it take for us to really acknowledge when we're hitting that glass ceiling before it starts to decay and destroy? Like, what does our glass ceiling feel like? Anything that doesn't allow us to know, be, receive, and perceive that, let's destroy and create it. That's all my interest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great question, to be able to, be, know, see, perceive, and receive. If you're hitting that glass ceiling, what is that, and look at it, ask questions, and be willing to ask the energies and the entities of everything around you to contribute to that. So that, when you ask questions, you create possibilities. And so where the possibilities might not have existed before you started asking questions. So a lot of times when you hit something that you're a glass ceiling, then you could just go to a conclusion. Well, this is as far as I can go. I can't go any further. And, so
totally.
If you go to a conclusion like that, right, then you have closed all the doors to possibilities. If you start asking questions, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, totally. Well, and sorry, I just wanted to jump in there. You had such great things to say.
Please do.
And instead of hitting that glass ceiling or that conclusion of being like, this didn't work, this is done. Rather than getting the information and the possibility of like, okay, so what is this actually? And then maneuvering. Because, I mean, I'm sure that this isn't the first time that your listeners have heard that awareness and consciousness isn't always super easy or comfortable. And so when something's not working, when something feels like it's not, going your way, so to speak, what's the information in that? What's actually going on here? How do I readjust? Now what's possible? Where can I, instead of, nope, not working, everything sucks, done, new question. Now what's possible? What is this? What can I do with this? What's the possibility here? Oh, cool. Am I meeting some kind of what information can I gather here to make a new choice?
Totally. And that's the thing, that having choice is something that a lot of people don't feel like they have. And so I would like to bring that into the conversation about communing with your creations. So if somebody feels like they don't have a choice with what they would like to create, what could you offer them for that?
Does that feel heavy or light? I mean, when I go into my no choice world of like, I don't have a choice here, I'm stuck, it is heavy. That is not a fun energy for me. And that's that's like my compass, Okay, this is heavy. Oh my gosh, there's a lie here. I'm choiceless. I have no choice. I'm stuck. Yeah, all conclusions. And we've all been there. And it's so easy to get stuck in that when it's basically what we've all been taught, is that you are stuck. At some point, you don't have choice, that you do have to settle, that blah, 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 blah. And it's like, is any of that light? And so continuously bashing your head against the no choice wall, I guess would be, what's the tool there when somebody doesn't think they have choice? How painful are you going to let this be on yourself? Because for me, like, if I continuously go into the no choice and the no choice and the no choice, my life makes it so hard for me that I have to turn. I have to pivot. And I'm just not willing to be unhappy. So what would it take for everyone to value their happiness and allow their happiness and their joy to be the compass for their life? And when that's not present and when that's not going on and when there is less joy, less happiness and more no choice conclusion, how does that feel? And can that be just another, I guess, just another sign that it's time to choose something different. If you're not happy, nobody has to not be happy. So what choices can you make today to create possibility in your life and living?
I love these questions. I truly do. And I certainly used to function from a space of I was unhappy and I didn't think that I had any other choices available to me. And I am so super grateful for finding that the tools and the questions that Access offers you showed me that yes, you actually do have a lot of different choices, and you have questions and you have possibilities. And what you shared a little bit earlier about some of the things that we choose to do are not easy, and they're not always comfortable. And are you and for me, I'm willing to go through that because I know what coming through whatever that is far greater than if I stopped myself.
Totally. And you really do have to choose to just go through it. I mean, what's your target? What's your goal of life? And are you, how committed to that target are you? And depending on what it is for people, I mean, it could be success, or it could be money, it could be joy, it could be happiness, but like, you will hit things that are not going to be super easy and super fun and super comfortable all the time. And you don't really know until you get past those pieces. But once you get past that first mountain range of like adversity or difficulty or discomfort, like for me, it was probably one of my first big Access classes. When you're going, oh my gosh, what am I doing to the crazy that goes on in my head still when I go to some of these big Access consciousness classes is like, what am I doing to myself? Oh my God, I should just give up. What's good? And you go through that sort of crazy and that, but then you hear, and then you'll just ask, like, I mean, what is it actually going to take to change this? And a friend calls you. You put on a recording that you have. You put on one of Betsy's radio shows. You put on something to just change the energy. We're energetic beings, and it's always possible to change it. So what is it actually going to take to change this when you get into one of those ruts and one of those sticky places? And it could be anything. I mean, just go outside for a walk. Go get yourself a piece of chocolate, or call somebody. Do something different than what you've been doing for the past 5 minutes that is causing this deep, dark hole of like digging and digging and digging deeper and deeper into. You know, I mean, what can you choose? And some of those choices are very small, itty bitty little easy ones, and they can just turn everything on a dime.
So what's it going to take to change this? Love that question. And it's simple. And then the other piece that I would love to bring in here is you don't have to have the answer.
Yeah.
So often when we ask a question, we're so used to having to know what the answer is. So we're coming along and saying, hey, just ask the questions and allow all the energies and everything around you and the universe to conspire to contribute to the questions that you're asking.
So, such a good point, Betsy. I remember that was really uncomfortable for me when I first started working with the tools of Access, because everything is a question. It's literally like when you're in conclusion, you know it, because life isn't fun right now. And so it's really gearing you, or like working that muscle of question, and then question, and then question, and then another question, and then another question, to just get that movement going and to start interacting with all the molecules and getting like just all of the energies working with and for you, versus conclusion hard. But it's very uncomfortable, because you're right. We're not taught to ask questions in this reality at all. And we're not taught to not have the answer. And so I remember when somebody was processing me for the first time and they'd start asking me questions, I'd be so uncomfortable because I immediately go into the wrongness of me. Be like, well, what does this mean to you? And I'd be like, oh God, what are my right answers here? What are my right answers here? And it's just, gosh, I mean, it's debilitating, really. And thank God for these tools.
It totally is debilitating. And when you're going, like somebody asks you a question and you're going to trying to figure it out. And a lot of times too, when people are talking, you're already not even really listening because you're already trying to figure out how to answer that or solve the question or the problem. And it takes you out of being present as well.
Totally. Gosh. And, Dane's been talking a lot about, a lot of access facilitators have been talking a lot about it, but Dane has been, some of the stuff I've been tapping into, Dane, one of the founders of Access Consciousness, has been speaking a lot about lately that I have really, really been tapping into is really like, what if you were never wrong? Like, what if you were never wrong and you were never, ever in judgment of yourself? Not ever. How, freeing that is, and how to just, no matter what happens, no matter what shows up, no matter who says what to you or what question is asked of you, if you can start with that one question or that one tool, what if I'm just not wrong here or ever? It just, allows you to step back into being and presence and, joy and the fun and, the whole reason we're here is to actually have a good time, maybe.
I love that. So love that question. And what if questions really can change everything? And are you willing to play with it and see what works for you?
I love that. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And as we're about to go to our second break, we're at the break already. So you guys ponder maybe a couple of questions while we take a quick break, and we will be back sooner rather than later.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
Hello, I'm Lisa Berry. Join me every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Light on Living. A chance to see new, hear different, and feel more as I shine the spotlight on all the ways to lighten the load of life's challenges. Light on Living is your link to that new way you're looking for, that new understanding that will enhance your life, and that positive connection that will support your growth. So join me and you'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. This cat makes me make art. He's always motivating me to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. He's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Keyboard Cat, YouTube star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Start yours today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you.
Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Imperfect Brilliance. Today I have the honor of speaking with Chelsey Dalzell, and we're having an amazing conversation about creation and receiving and questions. And before we jump back in, because the time goes so quickly, for anybody listening, would you please tell them how they can reach you if they would like to reach out and how they can find you?
Certainly. I'm still building my website. It's going to be amazing, I must say, my sweet baby website. She's coming along well, and I do tend to be just a wee bit of a perfectionist. So soon enough, that will be ready to go. But other than that, I'd say probably my Access Consciousness profile, my Certified Facilitator profile on the Access Consciousness site would be the easiest way. And I just search my name, probably. I'm very ill prepared for people to find me, but that's all right. We'll get there. You can find me if you need me. Yeah, otherwise, search me up on there. I'm in Calgary, so I do classes out of Canada. Slowly moving into some things in California. And then I travel with Shannon. So everywhere her class is, plus talk to the entities. I talk to the entities, and my Shannon O'Hara email is chelsey@shannon-o'hara.com. Yeah, I guess those would probably be the best ways to find me, Betsy. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And Oh, okay, great. Thank you. And I would like to also, before we get started back, I would like to invite people. I've got a creation right now that I'm excited about that we're just getting started with, and it is designed around the book, The 10 Keys to Freedom. And it's a little bit different, though. It's not a book club per se, but it's going to be actually using the 10 keys, putting them in action. And so I've got a WhatsApp group where we're chatting in between. I've got 5 calls and then home play and different things going on. So it's a 5-week program. And if you guys are interested, you can certainly reach out to me. It's on my Facebook page, Betsy McLoughlin and Imperfect Brilliance. And you can certainly always reach out to me at accessbetsy@gmail.com. And you can find my website is creatingyumminess.com. And so we actually have...
What a great website, Betsy. I love it. Oh,
Thank you so much.
Cool.
And mine is in a big overhaul, too. I'm just about ready to reveal I've moved platforms, and we're just about done on the back end of it all, so I'm excited. That'll be unveiled very soon. So we've been playing with pieces of it already, but the whole piece will be ready soon. Very exciting stuff. For the nerd in me, I love all that stuff. So, and that's awesome. Another great piece for communing with your creations. And we have a caller too. So I welcome Jennifer to the show. Welcome, Jennifer.
Hello.
Hi.
I have a quick question. Hi, Betsy. Hi, Chelsey.
Hello.
So I want to know a little bit more about like graphics or emails or website, what questions could you ask, or how do you commune or work with the consciousness of that in creation?
Thank you for asking, Jennifer. That's so funny that just before you said that, I was going to ask if we could take people through a bit of an exercise, because I realized just how crazy it sounds when you go, so now what? What does that actually mean? Am I supposed to start talking to my cupboard door and asking for it to open for me? Not quite. But with regard, especially to those things, especially your business elements. So you've got your website, you've got your Facebook, you even have Facebook groups, all the little components of your website, the components of your business. And the next time you're sitting there, you're writing, so let's say with the graphic, email, the website's a really good example too with what Betsy was just saying. Instead of asking out into the ethos, ask the website, what would you like to look like? And then wait for the awareness to show up. So what I do is be as much space as possible. Okay, so barriers down, and take that thing that it is you're creating. So with Betsy, it's a website. Jennifer, maybe it's a graphic. Graphic being, for anybody that isn't in the business that the three of us are in, a graphic can be used, it's a promotional graphic for a class that you have coming up. Or if you design jewelry, you have a promotional event coming up and you want to design some postcards or some promo cards or something for it. But it's all these elements of business. So barriers down, and let's expand out. Past your body, past the room that you're in, and just expand out enough so that you feel space, so that you're space rather than in body. You're the space that's required. And so how much space is required here to get the awareness that is required for all of this to come together with ease? And anything that doesn't allow that, destroy it and create it. Right, wrong, good, bad, PUD, PUC, all 9 shorts, boys and beyond. And now turn your energy towards that piece. So have something in your mind or your mind's eye, and literally get the energy of it. So hello, hi, turn your energy toward as though it was a living, breathing, aware being. So whether that, and that's how we work with entities, actual disembodied beings too, but you just actually go towards it. Everything has consciousness, which means it sort of has an identity or at least an energetic imprint. So hello. So what is the energy of you? And what would you like to be? And anything that doesn't allow me to know, be, receive, and perceive that, destroy it and create it, right, wrong, goodbye, pod, poc, online, truths, boys, and beyond. And anything that doesn't allow us to be in communion, destroy it and create that, right, wrong, goodbye, pod, poc, online, truths, boys, and beyond. Because what you'll find when you start to work like this is you'll have a lot of weird judgments come up. You'll be like, I sound like a lunatic. This is insane. It doesn't have consciousness, judgment, right? So pod those, get those out of your way. And then what would it actually take to be willing to receive the energy that this is trying to gift you or contribute to you or give you so that you can play together? And everything that doesn't allow it, let's destroy it and create it. Right, ring about pod, poc, online, truths, boys, and beyond. And all of your conclusions and expectations and projections about what it should look like, what it should be in the world, especially your business. You know, we all start businesses years ago, and we just think that they should just stay the same until they die. Well, what if it wants to change? What would it like to be now, right? What would you like to be in the world? And anything that doesn't allow me to know, be, receive, and perceive that without judgment, poc and pod, and just start this tango as though you're in a relationship with this piece of art or a piece of furniture or meal that you're cooking, and actually activate its consciousness. Start to engage with its consciousness, because once it's engaged in its own consciousness and you've given it that space to be it, it actually can contribute to you. Because your point of view creates your reality. If you're running around saying that nothing has any consciousness, nothing's contributing to me, that's insane, guess what's going to show up? A flat life of inanimate objects that are not contributing to you. But when you're willing to give it that power, then allow it, and then put your barriers down, and what would it take to actually receive either the information or the money it would like to gift you or the energetic contribution that it would like to gift you. And then there we are for a full circle again to our happy little receiving topic, Betsy. And there comes the receiving again. Does that make sense, Jennifer? Did that help at all? Or can I articulate that in a better way?
Brilliant.
Awesome. Thanks. Right on.
Do you have any other questions?
No, that's it. Thank you so much. That was a really great exercise. And the really cool thing is I've asked questions, but I haven't really done the barriers down and expanding out. So that's super helpful. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for the question. That was awesome.
Thanks, Jennifer.
I appreciate it. Awesome. Well, I love that. And, you know, how can we, with everything that we're creating, whatever your business is, or even if you don't have a business, like, you know, you have the business of living, right? So there's a lot of people who are like, well, listen, I don't have a business. What if your business is your life? So whatever it is that you're creating or you're looking to create, what questions can you ask or what energies can you be to include everything in what you desire to bring to this world?
Beautifully put, Betsy. Thank you. The business of living. Gosh, how brilliantly put. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Cool.
So with that, what other questions can you ask? So let's say you would like to launch a new website, or you've got this great idea and you have no idea what to do next. What questions can you ask in these cases?
I get organized. I'm finally finding myself getting much more organized with this. I have a billion ideas a day. And rather than just having them, losing them, and then being pissed when somebody else, actually acts on it, it's like, start writing them down. Start writing them down, articulate them out, flush them out as well as you can with all of the ideas and all of the energies that are coming with that, and then say, hello, idea. Is now the time? Is now the time for this? Truth, yes, no, or truth now or later? Later, okay, cool. And anything that doesn't allow you to know, be, receive, and perceive when that idea or that project is pulling on you and actually wants to be created by you into the world or anybody else, just start and create it. Right and wrong, good and bad, PUD, PUC, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds, and then keep your energy on it. What aggressive presence can you be with all of your creations, all of the energies, all of the entities that are currently in your life, past, present, and future, and just ask them to let you know. Let me know when it's time. And anything that doesn't allow me to be willing to act on that and do whatever it takes to contribute what I can to actualizing you exactly as you would like to be in this world, destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, hot and cold, all nine shorts, boys and beyond.
I love those questions. And the piece where you just said, actualize the way you would like to be in the world, that brings in the whole piece of letting go of your, maybe some people listening might have some control freak tendencies.
Weird. I know nothing of the sort.
Me neither. Nothing at all. But it just kind of popped in.
Theoretically, if one were to be a control person.
When you get out of the way of your own way of how you think things are supposed to be, and you include whatever it is that you would like to create in the energy of the creation, right? Instead of keeping them as very separate things, the joy, for me, the joy in that, it's so easy. And it flows, and all these great ideas come in, and one thing leads to another, and to another, and to another, and then it becomes far greater than what you had originally had the idea for.
Totally. Oh my God, so well said. Absolutely. The universe is smarter than you are. Really. Just allow it to play with you. Allow this beautiful universe to just let it be magical as it is, Get out of the way. Well said, Betsy. Get out of the way. Writing it on my fridge. Yeah.
Yeah, so true. Oh my gosh, so true. And so when you're willing to be that, it's that kind of energy of being out of control and not knowing how it's going to end up, for me, always it's far greater than whatever I can even imagine. And getting out of my own way and remembering and invite everything to contribute.
Totally. And one of my favorite questions I've been playing with a lot lately is, what energy, space, and consciousness can me, my body, my business, if you're talking about something with your business, be for all of this to work out even greater than I could possibly imagine with total ease? And everything that doesn't allow that, right and wrong, good and bad, pun and puck, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Because once you get past that imagination thing, there is a beyond magical world that is capable of showing you things you actually can't imagine. So what would it take for all of us to live lives beyond our imagination? Yes, please. Yes. Anything that doesn't allow it, let's destroy and uncreate that. Right, rugged, pun, puck, all nine shorts, boys and beyond.
Yep, place that order with the universe. Yes, please.
Yeah. Very cool.
I love it. Oh my gosh. What an amazing conversation we have had today. So we don't have a whole lot of time left, and I was wondering if there was anything else that you wanted to contribute to people.
Thanks, Betsy. You know what? I really would come back to just really practicing with those barriers down and acknowledging the strength that is in that and the power that's actually in that and the power of receiving that's in that, and allowing who you be to kind of up and thrive, because your barriers are, they're basically a sign of where you think you're actually weak. Whereas the true vulnerability is where the strength really is, right? And with that is your creative possibility, is your ability to communicate with all entities and energies with total ease, is your capacity of creation that anywhere you're stuck and you're thinking, is this as good as it gets? Is this really all I can create? Well, barriers down and actually acknowledge, even in that, you're actually more aware of what you are creating. I came back from I'll be really fast story. I came back from a friend's house who is just absolutely beautiful and has put together the most beautiful home, and all of the pieces in it are just singing. They're so happy together. They're well taken care of, well curated, beautiful original oil paintings and rich tapestries and leathers and distressed wood. And it's just this gorgeous, warm, beautiful place. It's so happy. And I had been shutting my awareness off and my communication off with my own personal apartment because I went into this, I want to move to California. I want to get out of here. Shut off, cut down, close, conclusion. And then I came back after being at my friend's house and having dinner and coming home to my home. And I went, oh, my God, guys, hi. But my barriers were down. I was mushy-gushy, vulnerable. Hi, I'm sorry. I'm here. I have been neglecting you. I have not been grateful for you and all of the bits and pieces in this home. And you're here for me. How much more can I receive from you? And then just play with it and get out a conclusion as much as you can. And just, what if life is so much more fun and so much easier than you ever thought it could be? You know, and what would it take for that to show up? And for you to really acknowledge what is trying to gift you every single day.
I love that. Oh my gosh, it's time to go. Thank you, Chelsey, so much for joining me today. What a great conversation.
Thank you, Betsy. It's been such a pleasure. Take care.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Chelsey. Have a wonderful week, everybody.
Thanks,
and remember
Bye-bye.
to commune with your energy and all of your creations. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.